That's my thing. You didn't make that. You'd had nothing to do with making that.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, some of your viewers, in today's video we are of course going to be talking about Markiplier, because recently he released his trailer for his movie Iron Lung. This is a project that Markiplier's been working on for a while and something that his fans are genuinely really excited for, but to say the generalized audience have reacted badly to this trailer would be an understatement. This looks like dog shit. It doesn't look good, but I do think it's at least commendable that he's making real things. The first step to making good art is making dog shit art and not stopping there. But you're supposed to start with short films, small scale projects. This guy's a YouTube millionaire, so he decided to use his money thinking it's just going to turn out fine on its own. So many famous people think you only have to throw enough money at something. I have zero attachment to this Iron Lung film. I think publicly at least Markiplier is a pretty nice guy, but I'm not exactly a fan of his content. But I do think it's commendable that he has put something that he wanted to make on the big screen. Ultimately, I would be lying if I didn't say that I didn't see any issue with the trailer that got put out for Iron Lung whatsoever. For example, Markiplier's acting is a bit more than just questionable, but all of these things can be kind of explained away because it is Markiplier's first project. So I'm going to be incredibly lenient on Markiplier because it is his first project, and I commend the fact that he's been able to put it on the screen. That doesn't mean that it's going to be fantastic or good, but I do commend that effort. But I do think that people are having this reaction that it is this shit because Markiplier has hyped it up to such a degree that even the generalized audience have heard about it, so, you know, they're going to have a bit of a harsher reaction. It's just that thing, if you talk about something enough and hype it up enough and make it seem like it's good, when it comes out and it looks shit, people are going to harp on you for it. I think enough time for me has passed to be able to say that Mark using his YouTube handle as a director name makes the film seem lower quality than it may actually be. This has been a big conversation around this film, the fact that Markiplier is going by Markiplier on this film. But ultimately to me, it makes sense. He is known as Markiplier. It's going to draw more audiences in when they see it's by Markiplier. I think it makes complete and total sense. You're going to go with a name that is way more popular and way more recognizable. As much as I would like this movie to be good, this trailer is pretty weak. The visuals look pretty sterile, clean, and boring, which is simply the exact opposite of what you want for any movie, let alone the rusty blood submarine horror one, but it is also just a trailer. It's important that if possible you see this in theatres. I absolutely will. Not only am I excited for it, but I think it's incredibly important to support indie film projects, especially now. If that fucking weirdo Elvis the Alien is supporting it, it must be horrific. But I do get what that absolute disgusting freak is saying though. There is a lack of indie projects at the moment, especially in theatres with the cinema kind of dying out, and I do think it's important to support things like this. It's just surprised that a video game adaptation movie made by a mid-ass Let's Play streamer that got famous for being hot and streaming at a face cam looks like doo-doo are shit, produced with zero budget and even less creativity. You are very naive. I was expecting this to look bad, but good lord, it looks fucking atrocious, Lamau. This looks like it was made by someone who only watches 5 movies a year. It's not looking good for the YouTubers can make for good directors crowd. Do you think people are being just a little bit too harsh when it comes to this trailer? Ultimately, it's just a trailer. We have no idea how the actual film's going to play it out. I don't particularly think the trailer looks amazing, but I'm going to wait to see the film to actually have any proper opinion on the said piece of media. I do think it's one of those things where it's been made by Markiplier, a YouTuber, so people are going to be inherently more negative about it, especially because he's hyped it up so much. Think of how vastly improved this could have been if they just had anyone else as the star, if Mark could dial back his ego just a smidge and get, you know, an actor. Now, ultimately, I'm not going to say I disagree with this user because the first thing I noticed about the trailer was Markiplier's acting quality, but ultimately, if you take a look at any actor and go back to their first couple of films, their acting is also going to be awful. That's just how it is. I really wish he wasn't starring in this. I cannot take him seriously, lol. I don't want to be mean, but like, oh god. I really hate to say this, but this looks kind of boring. Do you ultimately think they could have made a better trailer? I really don't think that it's done the film justice in any way, shape, or form, and I think if they did make a better trailer, I think a lot of this negative reaction that we are seeing would have been maybe a bit less. But with a YouTuber-made film, this was always going to happen. There was always going to be a huge positive reaction from that creator's audience, and there was always going to be a huge negative reaction from the generalized audience. That was just something that was always going to happen. I know it's his first movie, but man, this looks cringe. To cast himself as the main character, it's going to be a miserable watch. I see him as this goofy dumbass he is in his videos. I can't take this seriously. I'd rather he make a comedy film or something that he fits. People saying this production looks like shit are too used to industry films and haven't touched indie films, but other criticism is valid. I'm also concerned about Mark's acting ability, not because he's bad, but because this role specifically relies on insane acting because of the limited atmosphere. It's one of those things where I can definitely see when this film comes out, I can see it creating a couple of memes from Markiplier's acting. That just seems like something that is going to happen with this, but I do hope that the trailer just just hasn't done his acting justice, and in this film, you know, he's at least half decent. This is going to be mad boring, but people are going to glaze it. This doesn't look good. No shit, it isn't spectacular, it's an indie film. I will be seated if I get in my theatre. I think there's a pretty shit excuse for why the film doesn't look good. There are plenty of indie films that look genuinely amazing, and the acting quality is amazing. So I think just blaming it on it being an indie film just so you could defend Markiplier is a bit of a crap excuse. Ultimately, the film might not be the best because it's Markiplier's first movie he's making. That's a better excuse. You'd think the aesthetic they'd shoot for this would be a little bit above this generic shit. You'd think it would look somewhat inspired by the look of the game, but no. From the visuals and general pacing, I can tell Mark is a pretty good director. From the Mark himself, though, I'm not sure if his acting is all there. Feels like a very medium-specific work whose appeal seems to have been totally lost in its translation to film. Just saw that Mark talked about why he went with Markiplier on the movie poster for Iron Lung, and he cooked, honestly. It's just that some people have bad impressions of YouTubers, so better to go with his actual name instead of to make it more legitimate. That is true though, Markiplier is what's used on the official poster for the movie lol. That's by choice. I want to confront their stigmas directly. I'm not embarrassed of being from YouTube, and I'm certainly not going to hide it. Which I think that's understandable. There is a giant stigma around YouTubers being in films and YouTubers creating films and then being shit, so I understand why Markiplier wants to head that on directly, and everyone knows he's a YouTuber anyway, there's no point in hiding it, you might as well embrace it for maximum promotion of this film. But ultimately, is this film going to be good? We have no idea, we've only seen a trailer. Markiplier's acting has seemed to be a bit questionable here, but ultimately I do hope it is a good film. Do you think people should just slow down when critiquing this? Because whilst the trailer might not look amazing, I think it's best to wait till we actually see the film to see if the issues that we are seeing in this trailer are still prevalent in the film. Markiplier actually did a live stream where he spoke about everything Iron Lung, and he actually opened up about the experience of trying to get this film into a cinema.
Like that's the reality of some of the deals that have come across my desk in terms of looking into the traditional means of getting this movie out there. Is they want all of it. You get a pittance. Like, it's not even about the money. It's about, that's my thing. You didn't make that. You had nothing to do with making that. What are you talking about? That's so weird that you would come in here and say, I have the keys to the kingdom. Look at all my success, burning buildings behind them. Look at all of it.
Do you think even if this film does turn out to be bad, I think the experience that Markiplier has had here is interesting, and the things that he can now talk about when it comes to making a film and trying to get into a cinema, for example, is interesting and valuable, and I'll be excited to hear what he has to say about it as time goes on. Hopefully the film is good. There's been lots of positive reactions, of course, from Markiplier's audience, and a few from the generalized audience, but of course there has been this big negative thing, especially against Markiplier's acting, and mainly against Markiplier, which I think was always going to happen when it's made by a YouTuber. There is always going to be a bit of backlash from people that necessarily don't like the YouTuber, or who are a bit apprehensive of that type of thing. Everybody watching, thank you for watching today's YouTube video. I'd be very interested to see what you have to think about the Iron Lung trailer if you've watched it. Please feel free to comment that down below, and once you've done that, you might as well subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any future content. But I've been your Samuel, you've been watching Slot Meal, and I'll catch you in the next YouTube video. Goodbye.